Hey, what's going on, folks? Good afternoon. I'm Tom Battinger. This is going to be Anatoly, excuse me. And today we've got console on the mind. It's going to be Armada versus Elevate.
We just finished watching European action. Now we're going to transition over to North America. Keep in mind, this is week number 4, guys, on a Monday morning, and these teams trying to get their way towards that HRX.
Yeah, very exciting part coming up as we look towards the fall. hi-rezexpo.com. That's how you're going to be able to find your own tickets. November 16th through the 18th, Smite console as well as Paladins console, and of course, the PC World Championships for both of those games, and plenty of other stuff as well.
Other things to do afterwards on that Sunday, going to be that after party that you guys can't miss out on, so make sure you check that out at hrxafterparty.eventbrite.com. Check it out for a lot of fun festivities.
Everything's all about DreamHack. That's why we're here. That's why we're playing. So Armada and Elevate trying to get the wins underneath their belt so that they can find themselves there at Hi-Rez Expo. But first, as I said, got to play here online. So Armada and Elevate going head-to-head here. Totally, what are you expecting?
I'm expecting still historical repeats because these teams are rematching after their week 1. And considering that Elevate's still struggling right now without a single set victory, it was Armada that found that week 1 victory. It's really important for Elevate to find their stride right now because there's not that many more weeks remaining for them to get that number 2 spot. They can't get number 1 to get that auto berth into HRX, but it's all about trying to get the number 2 to at least lock in the placements.
So right now, Elevate with their first bans coming out. No Baron Samedi and no Chernobog. Armada across the way. They're looking for the control, taking away Odin, and they're also going to look to ban out the Neath. Interesting bans there, so there are some of the more powerful characters available. We do have we do have the Freya first and foremost. That's what I'm looking at right in the middle, expecting to see that from Elevate. Any other powerful characters?
It's going to be Naja as well, trying to set up the ganks. Amaterasu is an interesting selection when you think about it in the console side. Normally we're seeing it more frequently in the PC and the SPL of Europe because of how much power she has in the laning phase between the passive, and then you got the late game switches with the movement speed. Being able to get 25% movement speed for your whole team is to not be neglected.
Well, you want to talk about power in lane. That's something that Sol certainly brings. Her push there, likely to be in the mid lane like we saw Arabiax play. She can definitely bring a whole lot of pressure, which then results into jungle invades. Elevate across the way, going to go with Erlang Shen, a character strong in his own right so far. Seen him in the short side, also the jungle. And Anhur, very strong hunter right now. Again, character that can play multiple roles.
And Anhur's a great selection into the Rama laning phase. You're able to play aggressive, look for the disperse, look for the impale into the Desert Fury. It's just a clean-cut winning matchup. Ram has the lane pressure, but needs a good support to be able to get that going off. And Artio is a great selection with how aggressive she's looking to be. I thought for Armada, it might have been the Fafnir, considering there's both a Sol and a Rama, but lane pressure for Artio is still good, and that's a question of if it's even going in the support role.
Right, Fafnir can still be selected here for the support with Artio hanging out on the short side in the solo lane. Still totally an option.
Oh yeah.
So we got to reserve our judgment until we see a couple more selections. Armada banning out the Morgan, also going to focus on Apuash, so the mid lane locked down there from Armada. I think even looking towards the Neath was a mid lane ban as well.
Oh, absolutely. It's a good idea to try to prevent some of those World Weavers. Keep your side laners still nice and juicy and flowing from that early game, especially if you're going for that late game style that we're seeing Ram being selected in that dual lane. Screams late game for me.
And Batz, the jungler of choice here for Armada. Elevate across the way, looking for something to kind of deal with the control that the Batz brings. And again, it's going to be Ra, so not a lot of control here, actually, just damage and healing, more importantly.
There could be some lockdown where Erlang Shen's looking for the taunt into the knockup. Plenty of time for Searing Pain to roll through, especially if the Anhur can land that desert or the impale into the Desert Fury. So I'm looking for more of the healing, the reset and the healing. That's what Elevate is about to go in, relying on the Amaterasu's movement speed and the Raw sustain for the longer team fights.
Terra going to be the Guardian here for Armada. I think that puts Artio over there on the solo lane. Sun Wukong is going to be her direct opponent. Elevate or Armada, who takes the victory here in game number 1? Of course, this is a best of 3, so whoever does take this is going to have to continue their reign of terror into the later parts of the series. So right away, Elevate and Armada here. I think Armada's got a lot of pressure on their side of the map, but then you look at what Elevate have, and I think their mid-game can be very scary.
Elevate's mid-game certainly is not to be just afraid of, right? You have to make sure that you're the one starting things off first, because the longer the team fights go for Elevate, Armada are going to be in a really sticky situation. That's why Joey Linn opts to go for this Hunbat selection, really relying on some of these jungle encounters, and already Hamster starting off aggressively.
Couple of ticks of damage. Just getting that first little bit of poke. Mr. White will take the first in hand. So there is that.
And Hamster even anticipated taking that damage, popped the health potion, wrapping around that corner. And I like the fact that he goes for the aura. Look at that one basic attack from Mr. White. 68 damage onto Fatal Ghost. And Hamster, using the Amaterasu passive, ignores the wave, sticks on Fatal Ghost to not really allow him to keep clearing the melee minions.
And at level 1, the Hamster took the aura, which of course is a little bit of a heal. So he'll have the sustain in lane, able to take some of that poke that some of the other characters might not be able to. So Elevate go ahead, and they look very aggressive in lane.
So what Ryan Jarman is doing there, hugging this blue wall, is the fact that Joey Linn is doing the blue buff and there's a wave going under the tower. You got to make sure that you absorb the blue buff experience in order to hit level 2 off of that first wave.
Hamster going to pick up their own jungle buff as well, so nothing too out of the ordinary here. Teams just splitting down the middle.
Really surprised to see these mixer poll results, Tom, because 56% of the fans at home thinking it's going to be Elevate, and when you look at these teams record-wise, Elevate sitting at 0-3 going into week 4. Armada 1-2, but more importantly, it's the week 1 matchup where Armada found that victory.
Yeah, I think that, how teams do previously versus the second time, I think it is a fallacy. I don't really think it has anything to do with it outside of X team is better than Y team, right? I think Armada and Elevate are kind of closer as far as how distant each other's skill gap is.
Sure.
And so when it comes down to that, I think that any team can really win on any given Monday, as it is here for the console squad. So I don't know how much I really look into a stat like that, more so than just, it's like an almanac where
Sure.
It gives you sort of a look towards the past. I think you have to look towards the deeper level stats there. So at the end of the day, I just think the guys on Elevate have a lot of fans out there.
Oh, yeah.
DoctorL, White, Nexamiss, Hamster was at LAN, right? I think these guys are just fan favorites, and they're always going to be a couple of fans shouting their names.
That's what I was about to mention, is just that fan stardom, right? From DoctorL specifically, switching from the solo lane to the jungle, playing Morrigan jungle, playing like so many spicy picks. And Elevate have a big history in their namesake from the organization side. A little bit of trouble, though, in the dual lane.
Hamster's able to dash on out of there. Good job finding the exit. Of course, that dash stopped by player characters, so Hamster had to really get out of traffic before he could find the dash. Otherwise, it's silence and probably the last word he speaks as well. So,
well done.
A nice dash there from Hamster.
Nexamiss just trying to zone away Ryan Jarman. This is the one disadvantage of Guardians wrapping themselves up against the Warriors. Even Joey Linn having to make his presence to ensure the blue buff is not going to get invaded. It's really slowing down the farming out of Armada.
Yeah, DoctorL is here, and so he's going to wrap players up as well. Nexamiss focusing on the buff. Doesn't have the last hit just yet. Looks like DoctorL came through and secured it, so Nexamiss will walk away with the invade. Nice job there from the out-of-position Erlang, Shen, and Sun Wukong, as some might say.
It's just the basic attacks. You can't trade basic attacks at the end of the day with an Erlang Shen, and that's something that Ryan Jarman probably should have just let go.
Yeah.
Even with the Hunbats for your own team coming around the corner. Once Sun Wukong was there from DoctorL, that 2v2 is not going the way of Armada.
I brought up the fact that Sun Wukong on the jungle kind of backwards a little bit, and Erlang Shen has been more of a jungler as of late. So Elevate kind of doing things backwards, but I mean, on the other side, kind of proving what we said during Picks and Bans incorrect. Ryan Jarman playing this Terra in the solo lane, and Zirxy over there on the Artio. Really, we've seen a big lack of Terra in the solo lane since her ultimate change. It's no longer global, and so she's not as favored as much. Why do you think Ryan Jarman went this direction anyway?
Because once teamfights start rolling around at the level 12 to 14 marker, you want to have the higher level Terra than you would rather have a higher level Artio to be able to get more impactful Earth and Furies, get off more damage, more healing for your teammates. And the way you build a solo laner versus building a support, more cooldown reduction the way the solo lane, and getting off more control between the roots and the stuns, I think is better. Being able to get that off as opposed to the Artio that could still do Artio things whether she's level 10 versus she's level 12.
Kind of, I've always called the solo lane kind of like the oven. Kind of stick the character over there in the oven so that it can bake rather quickly. You'll get there. You see characters really get a head start over there, so that's the idea.
What about a crockpot?
Terra. Crockpot? Crockpot, it's kind of like a long-term thing, right?
Yeah, it's more long-term.
I see. So you before you leave for work, you put the Terra over there in the crockpot.
Yeah, then when you get home,
you got a nice Terra stew.
You're basically ready for dinner once you get home.
There it is. Ryan Jarman. I don't know if it's dinner just yet. Level 6 Terra, not that big of a threat. And here comes the chase down. Nice Jungle Monkey going to do what he can. But DoctorL says, no, I'm the better Jungle Monkey. And the Sun Wukong gets the first blood right off the top. Teep. Going to avoid the nonsense out of AquaticApe. So a nice play there coming out from Elevate. First blood on the board already alongside the blue buff Invade.
A 2v2 2 minutes ago turning into a 3-on-3 later down the road. Both of these teams making some nice adjustments, but just a step above the competition is Elevate this time around. AquaticApe was about to get that kill, but already finding it was DoctorL with the Jingo Bang, allowing him to start really separating the stacks alone of the Assassin's Blessing, being able to now afford himself this 10 penetration and a 2-level lead.
Yeah, that's really where I was going to go. 10 pen is one thing, but 2 levels above the opposition, that's a really big deal. DoctorL on the Sun Wukong, a character that can do a lot of damage, but people kind of, I think, one, we don't see him in a damage role that often, and 2, they kind of underestimate it. They always think of the Jingle Bang, but the Tiger Stun, when coming out of the jungle, is such a large part of such a large contributor of the damage sources, and of course it provides a stun as well. So you're getting hit by at least a basic, and usually the follow-up, which is Master's Will, which is a slow, and then you're just smacked up. DoctorL on the Sun Wukong, we don't see him a lot in the jungle, and there's probably a reason, and I'd like to hear that from you, Toli, but I really like this character.
Oh, absolutely. He's great at poking the competition. Jungle, not so common, simply because in the solo lane, you have more opportunities for poke with the Jingo Bang, but you still are going to be able to get effective poke from the jungle on a squishy mid-mage before any Book of the Dead items come online, and maybe look for kills there. And with the recent changes to Sun Wukong, between Master's Will being reduced by 2 seconds cooldown, going from 12 seconds to 10 seconds, makes him a much more popular pick, going almost back to Season 4 days where we saw him very frequently in the jungle.
Yeah, Season 4, we saw him all the time. I mean, we've seen a lot of Sun Wukong over the course of Smite's lifespan. Just a consistent harasser out of that solo lane, usually. Although we've seen him solo once upon a time. Nexamiss just in trouble. And again, going to fall down. This time, he's on the bad side of things.
This is where you got to reevaluate your decisions in the solo lane. When you're being this aggressive at the enemy tower line, even using your mink form or your turtle for harassment and poke, well, if you can't use your ultimate and survive within that 4 seconds from the enemy jungle gank, well, then it's time to just chill and farm. Look for the 2-minute buff invades with your jungler. Like the past 2 engagements around the blue buff favored Elevate, whether it was the 2-on-2 or the 3-on-3. Nexamiss just needs to be a little more patient.
Team fight around the Oracles. Elevate going to get aggressive. Hamster finds the lockdown, and Mr. White with the kill. Nice and easy.
Beautiful plays there from the support Hamster. No hesitation. Dazzling offensive on the character without CC immunity. Hamster was a sitting duck after that because all the follow-up between AquaticApe, Searing Pain, Celestial Beam, between the perfect impale from Mr. White, and more importantly, even saving that Desert Fury, knowing that AquaticApe would have been able to get the kill.
Yeah, just nice and clean. Armada do not have that level of cleanliness. Hamster, like you said, the lack of hesitation is really what impressed me. He just said, go for it. And his team was like, okay, ready to go. Oracles go in their direction. Nice, clean stuff from Elevate. And then right back to the game. Right back to the lanes. Nothing, no stretch, no trying to grab something that's not there.
And that first pick, Amaterasu from Elevate, is showing its stuff. Not really having the impact during laning phase, being able to get a first kill, but still being able to be the bully that you need. Just the presence to push yourselves forward beyond that imaginary mid-line is what could give Elevate this lead if they can look for several additional kills onto Hamster.
Ryan Jarman over here on the right side has been a pretty positive force for Armada. It's a weird Terra solo pick in a world without a global ultimate, but I really liked what she was able to do against Nexamiss with help of the jungler, and I think that's a nice foreshadowing into what we can expect when it's team fight time for sure.
team fighting should go the way of Elevate if it lasts longer. We were talking about the movement speed of Amaterasu, the sustain out of AquaticApe, but there's no slouches out of Armada either. Jarman, once he gets higher level, that Monolith will provide sustain, trying to combat what AquaticApe is bringing to the table, and plenty of self-sustain even from Armada. You look at MitchTeep on the Soul, has it with her sons, and then Zirxy, as long as he's constantly spamming abilities, he'll get some sustain for himself.
So right now, the ping's coming out in the middle lane. I don't know why everybody's so excited about this Ra. He's positioned rather safely. Randomization online, more so than Teep, I would say, as he's got his stacking going on right now. DoctorL going to look towards Honeys, and Hamster again comes around from the left-hand side. No stun, though, as Hamster focuses on the Artio, sends the damage towards MitchTeep. And now it's red buff time with the Amaterasu ultimate on cooldown, though. Might be tempting for Armada to show up. They're going to shift over to my purple, and there's a number advantage.
Oh, the Elevate Death Squad is roaming as a unit. Jingle Bang not on the mark. Fatal Ghost surviving with a dash backwards. And speaking of dashes, a good safety dash from Zirxy in the mid lane that avoided that dazzling offensive. That second death would have severely crippled Armada's chances.
Yeah, and so smooth getaway there. Armada stays in the game.
I love what Hamster did there. Did a 180 to not clear the middle wave, really saving it for his mid laner trying to get these stacks.
Yeah, that true support mindset. Hamster definitely that guy. Level 12 now for the mid lane. Ra, 2 levels. More like a level and a half above Teep, but still a devastating victory so far for Elevate's mid laner. 1,500 gold in the lead. Even more than that, actually. Wow. More like 2,500 gold here, and nothing really of note. Just strong play, an invade once or twice. That last play on the left side of the map was the big one.
Ooh, Fatal Ghost able to survive that one. Mr. White a little bit off the mark. Defensive ultimate from Joey Linn. DoctorL in the back line. Where's the disengage?
Big damage on a Hamster, and that's a good look for Armada if they want to continue. Honey's here, though, and AquaticApe on the mark. Honey's tastes the damage from the big Ra player in the middle lane. So
smooth out of AquaticApe. They're really predicting where Honeys was going to go. Just a little bit to the right is all he needed. And with his first kill of the game and 2 assists, even extending the lead further away from MitchTeep.
And that was a rough team fight for Elevate at first. Hamster got jumped on. Joey Linn and Joey Linn seemed to make the first move with the Fear No Evil, looking for Armada's first play in ages. And then Elevate was able to really counteract it. Hamster came from the left side, and he does miss a lot, and he gets chunked down for it. But after the fact, there was just a recovery.
Oh, no recovery for MitchTeep after Aquatic finds the second kill. Still diving the back line. It's going to be Hamster and the boys using the Amaterasu movement speed.
And Mr. White gets the last hit onto the Artio. 5-1, read the kills. Elevate, they're up a slew of gold, and I don't want to mention it yet, Toli, because I think that number is going to be altered. I would love to see Elevate go for a Gold Fury, and it looks like that's exactly what's on their minds.
A little bit of cooldown reduction for AquaticApe, 10% to be exact, so his Searing Pain is now available, will be confirmed. No one from Armada even around the corner, and 13 minutes in, Elevate are not to be stopped. Really showing up today on this Monday.
Almost a 4,000 gold lead here for Elevate. That's a really big play. 38-30 to be precise, as the blue team certainly looking strong here. Totally mentioned a number of times this team has struggled throughout the fall split. This could be their game.
Could have been their second win, potentially. You know, running the marathon, you need to be able to find where exactly is the point of the turnaround. And week number 4, better late than never.
Yeah, definitely could be the case. Double lifesteal coming out here from Mr. White. He's got the Aussie and the Devo gloves. How you feeling about that?
Considering it's on the Anhur, I'm a little surprised. You got plenty of sustain out of AquaticApe and just the primary Devil Gloves, which usually gets sold for Bloodforge late game anyway. This means that Elevate is probably leaning for more mid-game team fights, considering that they're winning already the past 2. There's no reason for not to go for this mid-game power spike and really start blowing the door wide open. If they can win the next 2 in a row, then Tier 2 towers are about to crumble.
I think that speaks to the Rod of Asclepius from AquaticApe, as well as DoctorL's direction. He's going the Blackthorn Hammer. And I know we really don't see all that much, but it's really, really mid-game focused. It's I guess I can compare it to Shifter Shield because there's an aspect of it above or below a certain amount. When you're above 50% mana, you get cooldown reduction to use that mana, and then when you're below it, you get MP5 to get that mana back. So DoctorL, again, I would consider this, looking at the stats, I think this is a mid-game item as well.
Oh, absolutely. 50 MP5 is just so much. And we're talking about these mid-game team fights. Elevate positioning themselves aggressively.
Mr. White in some trouble, surrounded. He's able to deal some damage. The ultimate comes out, but ultimately Joey Linn, the one to cut down the Hunter. 1 for 1, though, as Honey's going to fall down. It's a Hunter for support. Armada on the good side of that one, believe it or not, but the red buff goes in Elevate's direction, it looks like. And Jarman from the back line, he could be in trouble. Taunted, rooted, and now where's the follow-up damage? This team needs it, and they'll get it. IAmTheHamster with the last hit onto Ryan Jarman. MitchTeep shows up a little bit too late. Tier 1 tower in the middle lane, going to fall down as well.
Aquaticape really making the plays happen, returning the favor after Mr. White took an early tumble. His Searing Pain took out Zirxy and clipped Joey Linn's wings to force him back and out of the team fight. And when your jungler is not present, that allows DoctorL to just keep doing some Wukong things, being that harasser. And then the secondary kill between that tier 1, tier 2 gives him another objective, as if they weren't ahead enough. Let's add another 500 gold to the mix.
That's so obnoxious. Anytime Sun Wukong is allowed to be Sun Wukong. And it's fun because he gets played in the tank role a lot. But I love this hybrid position where he's a jungler and he's doing some damage, but he's not exactly full transcendence. But he's certainly not full tank either. And I think that this is where Sun Wukong kind of operates the best. Whether he's in the jungle or the solo lane, when he's able to build half and half. You see the Shifter Shield coming out, giving him a ton of power, but before that, a lot of sustain. He's going to be able to be in the middle of the team fight totally, push all of his buttons a number of times thanks to the cooldown reduction, but also be able to deal damage at the same time.
This build is brought to you courtesy of the sustain from Aquaticape. Without that rock heal, this build becomes much less effective. You need more protection than you do need health.
DoctorL. Right there.
He needs a lot of health to get back into it.
He's going to jump right back in, though. Joey Linn, 70% HP. And here comes Hamster, setting everybody up. The stun is good. And DoctorL with the last hit from the red.
Aquaticape not done yet. Gonna force out even the Aegis out of MitchTeep. Thought he was gonna get Celestial Beam. Searing Pain a little bit off screen there, trying to find the last hit onto Joey Linn. No speed buff available. A little slow compared to the Raw that's wrapping around the corner and the Amaterasu.
DoctorL able to find a way out from Fatal Ghost. But Amy did find Joey. And here's the trouble. Basics are good, and Joey Linn right there might be able to walk away thanks to Ryan.
I don't think so. Needs to find the dash and chase him down. The ultimate out of Hamster coming up in about 40 seconds
Will
time.
the mirror do the damage?
He's not going to commit to under the tier 1 tower, at least not by himself, but still delays the back long enough for Elevate to make a play in the tier 2.
Teep was there at some point. The level 13 soul gets taken care of by a mid-mage, 5 levels his senior. 16 and 15 is Mr. White taking on the enemy Hunter. The double lifesteal certainly coming up in the clutch. Mr. White very, very healthy. Ultimate not online just yet. Impale gonna miss. DoctorL shows up from the jungle. Hits the slow, hits the knock-up, hits the kill! 10 in total for Elevate. Beautiful rotation from the jungler, but mid lane a different story.
A 3-on-2 Armada going all in, finally taking out AquatiCape, his first death of the game. But here comes Hamster, the 2-on-3. Actually favoring Elevate for the second part because of all the damage, and despite the death, Elevate still comfortable enough to go for their second Gold Fury of the game.
Yeah, this is Armada was the last ones to get a kill. Shouldn't they have the objective?
Considering that 3 of their members were in 50% health, if you think about it as a team, collective health pool is 400% health versus about 350.
Yeah, so Armada just a little bit too empty-handed. 8,000 gold now is the lead for Elevate, give or take. For Elevate here, Choli, a lot of people, you want to talk about what the plan is and how they need to. I just want Elevate to keep doing exactly what they're doing. They're playing very disorganized Smite right now. This is not what I would consider this is not the traditional way to win games. Usually at a certain point you get a lead, you group up, you kill players, you push towers, you push objectives. And there's almost a formulaic task list to really look at. Elevate right now, they're chilling, they're farming. If somebody comes too close, they pop them in the mouth, and Gold Fury is theirs. That's really, it's disorganized, but I'm loving it.
Well, the way they organized the early tactics of invading the blue buff, using the Warrior versus Guardian solo lane to their advantage,
Right.
It was organized chaos, being able to force these disconjointed team fights and then even abusing the no CC immunity Zirxy by having Hamster dazzling offensive. So what they do on the right, they translate it to the left, and now they have good mid-game control to get these two Gold Furies.
Armada here looking at Nexamiss, the solo laner, by his lonesome, but ultimately very, very comfortable. We got another Hunter 1v1 so far, but DoctorL again shows up. There's the ultimate from the jungler. DoctorL off of Mr. White's damage will get the kill. Again, 404. Jungler certainly is found, though. DoctorL has been a huge part of this one. Here comes the ultimate out of the enemy monkey, though. Joey Linn goes down. No monkey business here. And Joey Linn, the other one, will sit on the wayside. Hamster Man takes care of Zirxy as well. 5 players up for Elevate, 13 kills in total, and the tier 2 tower on the left crumbles.
Look at that sustain. Mr. White was in the red after a couple of shots on minions, after all the ticks from the Solar Blessing. Now it's going to translate to a tier 2, and even a Phoenix in the dual lane. Elevate, 21 minutes, and even without Fire Giant, claim their first Firebird.
And yeah, just easy as the game is coming to them. And again, rather disorganized, just kind of fun. We've seen the play twice now where Mr. White goads Fatal Ghost into a team fight, or excuse me, a 1v1, and DoctorL makes it into a team fight, this time playing it over the wall. And then, that's what I mean by disorganized. Mr. White and DoctorL are like, all right, we'll get a kill here. Oh, and by the way, a Phoenix, oops, I've dropped my offense. Like, it just seems to elevate every time they pull the crank, they're coming up with a jackpot. Just every time, totally.
And you know that's not an easy task, because those things are rigged beyond all hell. I've never won a single time.
I mean, I've seen him do it a couple of times.
What did he win?
He won the jackpot. No, I don't know about the jackpot, but he's done well. No, there was one time I was actually, I missed my plane, so I couldn't get the straight flight to San Jose. So unfortunately, I had a 5-hour layover in Vegas. It's the only time I've ever been. I played this one Chihuahua game where there was a bunch of little doggies.
Chihuahua?
Yeah, it was Chihuahua Power. And so the goal was to get matching Chihuahuas. They were all wearing different hats. And so I played.
You were in dog heaven at that point. I know how much you like dogs, so.
I was trying to get the Chihuahua Power, and I actually did at some point get the power. So Elevate right now certainly have the power. Zirxy's losing about half his HP from the one shot out of AquaticApe. Joey Linn with a nice ultimate, but it's all been used up after the fact. Mr. White jumps, he gets jumped on by Joey Linn. DoctorL trades him out though. That's a 1-for-1 so far.
Ryan Jarman gonna root out too, allowing his team more time to disengage. Zirxy was a little bit low, has to back on out, and despite losing Mr. White, I think Elevate are still in position to heal up and maybe even go for round 2, bait this out. Ryan Jarman around the corner trying to spot out if the Fire Giant's there, gets rooted into place, stunned as well. Searing Pain a little off the mark, but eclipse Fatal Ghost.
And Fatal Ghost doesn't care, he gets a kill anyway.
Wow,
losing his life right there.
I thought for sure Ryan Jarman was dead to rights, but just able to absorb the stun originally from DoctorL and avoid the Searing Pain.
Yeah, kind of surprised there, actually. Kind of nice. Kind of nice. Kind of nice.
Doesn't really have that much crowd control reduction to speak of. It's just the constant addition of all the crowd controls to be able to diminish that Tiger stun duration.
Yeah, just a troublesome spot. But the trade out was important. Elevate still have a 10,000 gold lead, and there's nothing Armada can do in the direction of the Fire Giant without really waking up the sleeping beast that is Elevate. All they have to do, if Elevate just group up, they can take whatever they want.
Absolutely. I think that going for the Fire Giant was a nice call there, but too much damage onto Mr. White. Needed to be a little bit more protective from your Hunter. Without his DPS, that Fire Giant becomes even more difficult to kill.
Right now, the Gold Fury going to be the target of choice. And easily go in the way of Elevate. Nexamiss now being controlled. Well, here comes AquaticApe. Mid lane still the focus here for Team Elevate.
As it should be, considering how low it is. Less than 50% health, and there goes Hamster, trying to get the stun, gets Fatal Ghost and Zirxy, but SadAquaticApe with a double Searing Pain Tier 2 tower about to go down, but Hamster just overcommitting.
Honeys gets the stun. The Tier 2 tower still stands. Armada running up the mid lane. This should be their objective. Nexamiss in trouble. Joey Linn gets another one. 4-2-1 for the Jungle Hun Batz. Armada now surging up the middle lane again, as they should. They have the numbers advantage, Toli. It's a 5-on-3.
Oh, man, that was a really risky call out of Elevate trying to go for that one. They didn't really have minions beside them, and now it's Armada with a 5-on-3 advantage trying to barrel their way through the Tier 1 mid tower.
Meanwhile, the Monkey is going to back to base and look for the save on the left side, Phoenix. That's definitely the correct play there. 4-on-3 in the middle lane. Going to be a, well, actually, still a while for a Hamster to respawn, but Armada still opts to go ahead and retreat back to base. They don't want to take the 4-on-3.
Despite Nexamiss still dead for 15 seconds, rather play it safe than sorry. Joey Linn not present in the team fights means that you're not going to have that important Fear No Evil, which allowed them originally to even kill Nexamiss, that doesn't really have CC immunity for his kit or the relic selections.
Yeah, none at all, so yeesh. Is that a mistake or just kind of the way he's been dealt?
It's just the hand that he's been dealt. Nexamiss needs to get that Curse Donk. I really like the fact that he's even upgraded it. And even though Jarman doesn't have the most healing in the world, it's not necessarily about the anti-healing. It's about the amplified damage, being able to abuse anyone that got that monolith healing.
And also on top of that, you're looking at MitchTeep, who does have the lifesteal involved as well. So anytime he's attacking you, he's healing. The Curse Donk certainly going to help out in that direction as well. Elevate have a number of tools at their disposal.
Trying to bait out the Fire Giant is Elevate, 26 minutes deep. It is a 5-on-5. Left side Phoenix is still healthy and recovered. Going on in. Defensive ultimate forces out another defensive ultimate between the two monkeys.
DoctorL still looking for the aggression. And now here's a beautiful ultimate coming out from Teep. Hits everybody in the corridor. Armada now searching for something else. Joey Linn can't catch up to DoctorL. The monkey bounce will do it. Does he teleport? He does, but it's right into the clutches of the enemy team. MitchTeep, the first one to get a kill, by the way. This 40-second engagement winds up with very little bloodshed.
Two factors allowed Armada to win this team fight. Hold that thought. Joey Linn blinking in very offensively. Looks for the jump, gets the slow. Beats is out. Desert Fury even being used. I think Joey bit off more than he can chew.
Yeah, rough play there from Joey. He blinks forward for what should be the okie doke, but DoctorL makes a fantastic play. Despite the fact that DoctorL and Mr. White aren't pixel perfect, they still get the punish. Joey Linn certainly not too hot about that one. He won't be.
I respect it though.
Afterward.
Still respect it because he zoned away 3 people originally, which allowed Armada to get the kill onto Hamster on the right side and zone away AquaticApe, and then felt confident enough to go for the kill at the very end.
It gets Fire Giant.
Yeah, and then he zoned away long enough for his team to get Fire Giant, and I was going to talk about why Armada were so successful in that last engagement. It was 2 ultimates specifically. The defensive ultimate from Joey Linn to separate the team fight in that corridor, while it was DoctorL and Nexamiss on the north side, the rest of the teammates a little bit too far south. The second ultimate was MitchTeep just firing that supernova down the corridor. The rest of Elevate can't group up in the Solar Blessing.
Everybody was just stuck. They got hit by the ultimate from MitchTeep. Really nice turnaround here from Armada. Still definitely down, although you cannot say out. Fire Giant will help them a little bit. 7,200 gold in the lead is still Elevate. So they've cut down the lead from about 10K to 7K, which is a big jump. Itemization, of course, becoming less relevant, so there is that. How much gold value do we put on a Fire Giant?
About 5,000, I would say.
Really? Wow.
Depending on how many Tier 2 towers they get. Another great ultimate out of Joey Linn. MitchTeep taking out the Soul Laner.
Great control. Just great control. Nothing else you can say there. The jungler and the mid laner combining for all of this damage. DoctorL looking for the knockup, looking for the mid lane mage. Can't find it. Joey Linn punishes DoctorL. Down. The Sun Wukong will go 2-0. Joey Linn in the red, so he'll have to be careful.
Elevate.
Brings out some damage, and AquaticApe. What was that? Was it the battle
was
heal?
the Searing Pain. Or sorry, the Celestial Beam.
Oh, okay.
Just randomly being used there. Joey Linn. A little sloppy there, not supposed to die when you're literally max range from that beam. You can see it coming for like at least a full 2 seconds. Either way, this is Elevate fighting outside their towers against a squad that has Fire Giant and now Armada in a 4-on-3. Gets the tier 1, going for the tier 2. Jarman with a nice little double root just zoning away.
Yeah, I think, you know, Elevate are playing so far up because they had past tense.
That's true.
They had a giant gold lead. They were up 7. They were up originally 10K, wound up being 7, and now even cut shorter, below 5,000.
But still, at the end of the day, collectively as a team, somebody needs to be making that call to disengage and just fight under towers. That 6th man, even a tier 1 tower acting as a 6th man 30 minutes in is better than nothing.
There's the ultimate used from Hamster up north, though. It's not going to be used defensively. Nexamiss doesn't seem to need it. He's very healthy. Heals himself up. Nice taunt there off the ultimate. SadAquaticApe is in a little bit of trouble, but that Terra ultimate will be used and gone. And that's a really big win for Elevate.
Well, Armada, though, gets the 2 towers on the left side, so that's 2,000 gold that they've gotten thus far. Going for the Gold Fury still in a 5-on-5 situation, but Joey Linn not quite here yet.
Yeah, he's going to be on the right side. His positioning might be advantageous after all, though. The flank here in Weevil is certainly a powerful tool. Blink is available to him, so you got to be aware of the surprise initiation.
Good silence onto Ryan. Jarman prevents the dash from rooting any members, and the rest of Elevate still thinking about their time to go in. Gold Fury gets taken out by the Chaos side.
Elevate just sat in their hands for way too long, and now Armada have essentially tied the game up. 3,000 gold separate our teams, but here in the 31st minute, that's all gone. The items are even here. And so Armada stretching this one out.
Between the 2 towers in the dual lane and the Gold Fury, Armada able to cut the 7,500 gold deficit down to only 3,500. About 5.5 items deep for Zirxy. Everyone else pretty much sitting on 6 items. MitchTeep even going to be able to finish it off with a Shaman's Ring, just for good measure. Good pickup for the Soul in this late game when you have this much control between Joey Linn and how chaotic he can make these team fights. The follow-up from MitchTeep is very crucial.
Fire Giant set to respawn here in about 20 seconds, folks. That's exactly where we're going to be looking. Elevate previously had the upper hand. After that, Armada won a team fight. They had the upper hand. Totally correct me if I'm wrong. This is anybody's Fire Giant.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. This is all dependent on who wins this next engagement. It's going to be a little bit of a poke battle. A root onto AquaticApe that was too far forward as MitchTeep is clearing out the mid wave. Fire Giant now due to respawn as both teams are just still looking for that right angle to get into the thick of things.
Ability 1, ability 2. Just tossed out here. Nexamiss, MitchTeep. Played it safe. There's an initiation, a light one from Ryan Jarman. Still not there, but there's the blink from the monkeys. Both on the back line. DoctorL goes down first. Joey Linn relatively healthy even after the fact. He went way deeper and still winds up healthy as a horse. DoctorL, on the other hand, his impact not so hot. I don't like the idea of a Sun Wukong being the initiative.
Oh, definitely agree with you. He needs to play cleanup crew, and now playing cleanup crew for the rest of that team fight is Armada as they keep going in, snatching away the Pyromancer. They're not done yet. Snipes from Fatal Ghost going to force Hamster on back. Nexamiss funneling his way towards the left. As soon as they heal from Jarman's Monolith, this is going to be the second Fire Giant for Armada.
Major beef with the way Elevate are starting the team fight. DoctorL cannot be the initiator. I don't even mind if Nexamiss goes in with his taunt. Literally anybody else but him in the mid lane should be initiating. Sun Wukong is fantastic.
Oh, look at these minutes on the left side. They actually clip away the Phoenix.
Go, Elevate, go! Go, Elevate, go!
Armada are trying to retreat. Elevate won't allow it to happen. They were in a 4-on-5, and they find another kill onto Ryan Jarman. Great Searing Pain around the corner. Joey Linn with a defensive ultimate, but just no follow-up because MitchTeep was on the right side of the map.
4 on 5. Look at these.
Wow. That's the worst feeling because that wasn't even just fire meeting waves. That was a collective 3 grouping of waves, and 9 archers can certainly volley their way to take out your weakened Phoenix.
Elevate right here just got lucky?
They got thrown a bone, I think. They definitely got thrown a bone.
They've been making a couple of mistakes here, but the basketball gods, or I guess the gods here, kind of giving Elevate.
They were blessed.
A little 1-2 punch. Again, though, DoctorL stay in the back. Wukong, his build is very good for team fight harassment, but he cannot initiate.
Elevator's going in, though Nexamiss very low. Searing pain onto 2 members, but Zirxy's not deterred, still leading the charge because he'd rather sacrifice himself for this middle Phoenix safety.
Well,
he's still alive.
He is alive, and the Anhur won't be able to meet up. Left side down, mid lane down, right side still at tier 2 to take care of.
They should be able to get it too. Very healthy are the members out of Elevate. 35.5 minutes in with themselves getting that fire giant. Will be the enhanced one, so 30% extra structure damage for Mr. White, taking it out very quickly, even without some of these minions assisting for the backdoor protection. However, Armada looking to posture for a defense.
So there's a Pestilence, there's a Brawlers, there's a Divine Ruin. Still doesn't seem to be enough anti-heal coming out from Armada. They are doing it correct. I don't think we need more. An Ankh, they already have it. What else can Armada do? Because there's 23,000 healing from AquaticApe, right? 23.4 right now. I mean, what do you do about that?
The problem is, once they started that fire giant, it was too late. They already lost their left Phoenix.
Yeah.
They took too much damage from all the AoE grouping. AquaticApe has been hitting some really nutty celestial beams.
Is that a new tower thing?
Where?
The bat?
Oh, that's been around. The gargoyle?
Yeah.
That's been around.
Since January.
For a little bit. I want to say, yeah, season 5.
I just noticed it.
Do you play on specific settings? Maybe in a specific setting.
I play on high settings.
I don't know then.
I always play on high. Right side, Armada trying to deal with Elevate. Decent lead, but I don't think it's relevant totally. I think this is just about the fire giant and the compositions. And with that in mind, Armada have a fantastic composition to play defense.
Oh, absolutely. Considering MitchTeep has been able to play defense with Joey Linn's, the 2 ultimates are what's going to win it for Armada or lose it, because Elevate has started to be aggressive again.
And, I don't even think Soul isn't a character that I would consider very, very defensively strong, but Teep has absolutely played a fantastic defense. He really knows how to leverage his character's strengths in the defensive set.
I like how Nexamiss tries to turtle through the Terra walls. Maybe if I run really fast, I'll cross the train tracks.
Turtles move really slow, too.
They do. Why didn't he go for the mink?
He could have. Well, DoctorL, look at his positioning. Go for the flank. He could go for the tiger. 272 transformations. Elevate DoctorL on the back, looking for Fatal Ghost. Gonna get him right there. Half HP on the objective so far. There's Joey Linn looking at Nexamiss. 2 players surrounding him, and he'll turtle form his way on out, nice and slow. DoctorL still on the back line, separated from the rest of the squad. But now he's doing the separating as Joey Linn forced over to the left side to deal with him. Now, 2 players lined up. The snipe is off the mark, but there's the Anhur damage. Armada doing a great job of not getting hit.
Elevate cannot penetrate quite yet, despite doing a lot of damage. Needs a couple more basic attacks. Good stun from the Terra. Up in the sky. Here comes some Rama shots. Hitting Mr. White, but where's the follow-up? Joey Linn's jump going to get avoided from the dispersed Mr. White. Peeling for himself.
Yeah, Mr. White in some trouble. The fire giant has fallen off, so the natural HP 5 not going to be there. Has to heal up from the Ra. Almost 10k healing done just in that short amount of time.
Oh boy, this is getting absurd for the amount of healing between AquaticApe and even Ryan Jarman trying to get those numbers a little bit higher. I like the Lotus Crown pickup on the side of Ryan Jarman, knowing how defensive they need to be. Even that 20 protections are going to do the job. Ryan Jarman even getting more utility with a Gem of Isolation, your typical Soul Lane style build.
40 minutes in, or just about. Rather long game here. Elevate trying to...
It's a lot on the line, Tom. Being able to try to battle their way for that #2 spot, because I don't think anyone is going to be able to catch up to Astral Authority for that #1 clinching buy scenario for HRX.
Certainly will be pretty tough. Nexamiss does get his way out of there. I thought he was going to be collapsed on. Nice job wiggling on out. Armada again. They had control of the jungle. Now it seems like Elevate willing to just push up, because Elevate do have 2 of the Phoenixes. So a little bit less breathing room for their opposition leads to a fire giant that is largely, again, I don't like to say objectives are free, because I believe that Elevate they paid beforehand.
Tom, look at that Titan that took 50% of its health from just a fire minion wave.
Yep.
That is a little sloppy for Armada. They need to be able to keep the balances and checks going between each lane. Like, granted, there's no more, you know, Phoenixes to worry about to defend, but your Titan has to have some defense behind it.
I mean, that's the last, literally the last structure.
The last stop on the train. It's all off after that.
What happens when what's the stop after the Titan? Trick question, there isn't. It's the last one.
Exactly. It's called the last stop.
That means that is...
If you're not off,
you're on.
You're still on, which means you're going backwards.
Well, this is Elevate trying to keep things going forwards. Joey Linn, ultimate on the back line, going to send 2 players backwards, but the damage still coming frontwards. As Armada has to finally retreat. DoctorL up in the cloud. There's a nice stun coming out from Hamster Man.
Keep in mind,
again plays defensively, heals up under the circle.
Minions still doing a little bit of chipping damage. Not the most to speak about, but just enough to get the Titan a little bit lower. But unfortunately, somebody out of Elevate stepped inside that circle of the throne room. I believe it was Hamster, and that's why you saw that health jump up just a smidge.
Left side seems to be the focus for Elevate, having trouble breaking in here. Joey Linn doesn't have his ultimate, and that means I think it's time to make a real big push. Without Jarman and Joey's ultimate, this is really where Elevate are going to be at their strongest.
It allows DoctorL to look for that blink play without fearing that fear no evil. The stun onto Nexamiss, no real follow-up. There goes the blink from Fatal Ghost, forcing the reset out of Fatal Ghost and some more defensive peeling.
Now 25% on the objective so far, but here comes a little bit of help. Ghost takes care of AquaticApe nice and early. That's a big play for Armada Esports. Have HP on the Titan, and now Armada pushing out forward. Hamster's in trouble. Mr. White's in trouble. Double kill for the Hunter. Joey Linn takes care of the support. Nexamiss getting run and gunned down. Joey, where's the monkey? Where's the monkey?
It's on cooldown, Tom, but he has the overhand smash. Left side Phoenix was saved. Right side needs to be defended as well. DoctorL is going to go for it.
Walk it up mid. Walk it up mid.
Oh, that right side Phoenix is going to go down. DoctorL does have the ultimate to heal up a little bit and potentially get away in this 5-on-1. 30 seconds before AquaticApe is up. I don't think Armada can end, but they might be able to at least grab themselves a middle Phoenix.
Yeah, I don't think they can end either, totally, even with just the Ra.
This is going to be very spicy if they try for it, though.
I want to see them do it.
They can't. There's no way.
I want to see them do it anyway.
Oh, what a perfect 4-man knockup from DoctorL. And this time, it's going to be the lone Sun Wukong keeping his middle Phoenix alive. Armada in a 4-on-1 couldn't break the barrier. Now AquaticApe is here. Joey Linn in the back line gets off a good ultimate in the back, taking out Teep.
DoctorL able to answer. Here comes help from Mr. White. And now there's the turnaround. Double kill for the jungle Sun Wukong. 8, 3, and 7. And now I'm telling Elevate to run it up mid. They've got a little bit of help from the movement speed out of the Amaterasu. Here's a teleport as well. There goes another ghost. And DoctorL gets his 9th kill of the contest. Timers, totally.
This is game, Tom. This is definitely looking like Elevate are able to finally close it out here in this first game out of the best-of-3 set. Took them a little longer than it probably should have, as Armada were able to slowly battle their way back into it. Nexamiss going to blink in and close it out.
Yeah, there's the damage from the Tiger Stun, and just like that, 44 minutes on the clock, 44:20 to be precise, and Elevate with an 8,000 gold lead after all said and done, wind up taking just game number 1.
A little sloppy, but still, a win is a win at the end of the day. You got to feel really good if you're on the side of Elevate. In game number 2, however, they need to start cleaning things up because the way they were engaging in that mid to late game was not a way of HRX caliber.
Yeah, it was a little bit rough there watching these teams kind of climb their way out of the holes. Nice leads being taken away. Right now, who's MVP is the question that we pose to you guys at home. When it comes to mine, I honestly don't know. I think DoctorL did a strong job.
He was able to be that nuisance in the backline, but I'm looking a little bit about SadAquaticApe. Some of his Searing Pains were clutch, his Celestial Beams. The pick itself, the raw pick, was very important for the success of the mid-game transition.
Yeah, really nice stuff there coming out from the raw player. Mid lane, certainly a nice lockdown. For game number 2, what do you want to see change?
I think that the Batz needs to be respected more. Like, if the Batz is selected for Joey Linn again, I want to see Elevate just bait out team fights and re-engage kind of deal. Don't look for those team fights beyond the corridor, over that little funnel section. That was a little sloppy. But in terms of picks and fans, I think that Armada needs to be worried about this raw pick, or at least look for an Odin selection. However, it was actually Armada that banned away the Odin and allowed this raw to thrive even further.
Only MVP on the way here. You were talking about the middle lane, whether it was a Ra. I had brought up the jungler as well. Who knows who the MVP could be? 5 players to choose from. Certainly eager to hear what you guys are going to say and where that player is going to land. So the solo also had some good moments, but it looks like DoctorL is going to be your most valuable player. The jungle Sun Wukong coming through in the clutch.
And I think a lot of it came down to was this early game pressure onto the blue buff. DoctorL pairing up with Nexamiss was able to avoid, or to rather invade, the blue buff on 2 different occasions, and then just this backline presence. And yeah, this 4-man knockup under the middle Phoenix and that goes into his somersault cloud. That's what you want to see out of your Sun Wukong, whether that's jungle or solo.
Yeah, the 4-man knockup was really fun to watch. I think anybody that's ever played Sun Wukong kind of has that on the mind. Maybe I can do that. You usually can't. DoctorL comes through and makes it happen. So